cancel it, but now it's starting and it is now. Welcome Sean Peters to round 6 of season 3 of GT Sport SA.
Yeah, how's it, guys and girls? Oh, big echo there, but it's fine. I think we'll carry on with the stream. How's it, everybody?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking. The guys are asking about backup hosts.
Cool.
Mr. Klopper, welcome.
Let's see where we are. All right. That screen there.
Matan, welcome. I see he says he has a blast on the combo. Glad to hear it. We're up to 3 people watching, so while these guys are getting their pool sorted, I'm just going to quickly invite everyone on social media with the link.
Great stuff. Well, Stephen does that. A warm welcome to you this Thursday evening down here in Cape Town. It's been 30 degrees. It's been a stunner of a day. Let us know where you're viewing us from. We are racing at the beautiful Monza circuit, lovely Italy this evening.
Not ironically, but coincidentally, same as the F1 this weekend.
Yeah. And we can't wait to watch Max Verstappen take another victory.
I think the Mercs might have something to say about that, but I hope you're right. We just going to have to wait and see, but it's also sprint qualifying this weekend again.
Yeah.
So nice to keep it interesting and something a little bit different.
Yeah, always keeps it rather exciting.
Looks like our co-commentator Trivs is still in his race. Oh, trying to find the new Pool 1 lobby. So yeah, everyone who's joined so far, we're up to 9. Tell us who you are, say hi, tell us what your race went like. We're going to be live with Pool 1 qualifying shortly.
Alright, let's just have a quick look at the next screen.
Hi Kaylin, SimRacer. What you doing on the chat? You should be getting ready to smash Monza in Pool 1. So car choice quite interesting tonight. Bugattis and Lamborghinis as expected, but I do see a Skyline GTR as well as SMP3 Pro running in the Hyundai. It's quite an interesting choice.
I'll see KBR Richard. How's it? Hope he's watching. Some very interesting car choices. Yeah. SMP3 Pro. How cool is that? Very cool livery he's got on that car. Look at that. Italian pace. Very, very nice.
DMR Damien also riding the Hyundai. So the DMR guys obviously did some testing and they're going to surprise a few people with car choice tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, well, if you've just joined us, welcome to it. It's Monza this evening, the beautiful circuit in the north of Italy, in the province of Milan. It's as our host this evening just alluded to, it is the F1 this weekend, but right now we're at round 6 in Pool 1, GTSSA, live action this evening. How's it, Caleb? Nice to be chatting to you again this evening.
might take a little while to answer. He's on the grid at the moment after his brief auto drive relegation to Pool 2. He's back in Pool 1. I see Dino saying, how's it? He decided to join Pool 9 tonight, and I see in the Genesis he also took a win. Very, very unexpected, Mr. Dino. Last TSM JDJ second, Slayer third, Osava Brandwach fourth. They could have easily been Pool 1 any time in the last few years. It looks like we're having much better test start here with Wolfman Willie taking over as Pool 1 host. But here, there I see RBS Racing now having issues. KBR fifth in the most bling Bugatti this side of Dubai.
Yeah. That is serious blinger.
I think his tactic is, I think he's got a tactic to try blind everyone coming into one of the Lesmos, and you get reflection from that in your eye. It's going to throw you off.
Yeah, you're going to run high up on that curve.
Actually, just for interest's sake, let's ride on board with SMP3 Pro and see what it looks like following that chrome car. You should see some sparkling now. Oh, and the room crashes.
Man. Yeah, we need to get some Oakleys for this drive. Oh no. Well, there we go. Stignator, hello to our resident mayor of Plumstead. Arrive and drive on auto drive. Yep. How's it, Kaniwe? Nice to have you on board with us this evening. Good to see you out here. Yeah, it's Monza time. We're in for fun. And there we go, Steve. Dino giving us a bit of a punt there, saying he'll take it over and host the race.
Yeah, I was just checking on the pool chat quickly what happened.
Well, there we go. Team SS. Shawnee and Stephen. How's it, Stiganator? Lekker to see. I missed you, Oaks. It's been a while. We used to at least get to ride every second or third weekend. I haven't seen you guys in about 4 weekends.
Yeah, but you guys ride bicycles, so it's not really the same.
Yeah, but it keeps us fit. It keeps our brains firing. Mr. Race Fox says, hi all. How's it, man?
So we're all here in the chat while we're waiting. Up to 17 people staring at my lobby menu.
Yeah, and listen to our silly voices talk nonsense for the next couple of minutes. There we go. That is the typical Stiganator response. Always ready, chum. And if you guys are not from the Cape Town area and you're not too sure what chum means, it means buddy. Just to give you some lessons in Cape Town language.
Give us some more Cape Town language tips. What's we actually need? We need Wes to come and join us here, or Stiganator.
Yeah, Stigs, jump on board, brother. Let's give him some Cape Town talk. Come,
Mr. Race Fox, good evening.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. There's some words. That is a typical Cape Town word. Check. Lovely. Yeah. Team Aston bringing the KY and Peri Peri this week.
I'm just
like Nando's on steroids.
While we're waiting here, I'm looking at the pool results, and it looks like Mr. Stiganator came first in Pool 2 using the Ferrari, which is a very unusual choice, but well done to him. Also Lequera in the Veyron, and then Sarah Sam third. Wolfman Willie just missing it in fourth place, so it looked like a good Pool 2 race. See if anyone's got a lobby open here yet.
Yeah, I see. That's why Stiganator's giving us the bit of a punt there, because he's leading up a class. Nicely done, Mr. Stiganator SA. And Stiggs, just looking down at my voiceovers that I'm doing for another race, it seems like you dominated this week as well. Well done, my boy.
Okay, there we go, guys. We've got duplicate rooms here. It looks like most people are in Dino, so I'm just going to go back into that one quickly. Wolfman, it looks like your services aren't required.
Guniwe, that's a very interesting question. Who is going to get the final alpha seat?
Yeah, Mr. Smooth's operator JOO, arrive and drive. When are we going to see you back on the GTSSA Pool 1 races?
Let's post that question to Al. Alan, who's going to take that other seat? Who's going to take that other alpha seat?
The Chinese guy.
Let Pottis let him rule the roost there for a year or two or 5.
Yeah, I think that they said the 30 million's worth of euro sponsorship for Zhao, or however you say his name. But he's been driving well, so it's not a bad thing. Probably better than Mazepin. He probably won't try to kill everyone when they overtake him.
That's true.
Yeah, what else is going on this weekend? We've got MotoGP at Aragon. Binder Brothers Racing. Last weekend we had World Superbike. I think it's a couple of weeks till they race again.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox is yawning, it looks like. Maybe it's past his bedtime. Talking about MotoGP, and Ali's rocking a Rizless, the Suzuki replica livery from a few years ago on the GTR.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Mr. Fox is yawning. Watch MotoGP, then yawned. I normally actually watch, when it's on the same weekend, I'll watch Moto3, then Moto2, then the MotoGP, and then to get my heart rate down before I have a heart attack, I'll put the Formula 1 on.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. Guys, let's support a formula like MotoGP that has got a SA ride in that's going to dominate it.
Yeah. Well, if you look, the last race had six bikes in the first 6 positions. Brad 6 in the championship, and if you looked at the top 15 at the first race of the year, I think there was an 8-second gap between them. Whereas your Formula 1 at Zandvoort was first, second, and third on the same lap.
Sure.
4th place was lapped. Here's another Morism for you, Mr. Fox. KBR Richards in a unique car, Bugatti, just like the one Ghost Killer Pace is driving. And KBR Varfus. Who else has got Bugattis? Mr. Bridgen, Dynamic Sean. Oh, we've got Kalen in the Lambo. I thought he'd be riding a Bugatti.
Yeah, he's in the white and red clad Lamborghini.
Yeah. So it's Lambo versus Bugatti and 2 Hyundai.
Yeah, what a combo.
Yeah, you don't normally see a Hyundai racing Lamborghinis and Bugattis. Maybe in the Cape Town area. I know in Durban when I lived there, there's oaks in their I-20s that wanted to race anything.
Yeah. And listen, we got a Golf 2 running around the local area now. A bit of a sleeper, old CSX body, red in color. The only thing that really gives it away is a bit of a slapped on roll cage. But listen, this thing is a monster. Man, I think it could probably take anything right now. And yeah, I just don't know how he keeps it in the straight line.
Yeah, it's quite hectic. Everyone rushing out pit lane for the start of qualifying. Obviously, this is going to be one of those races where slipstream takes a little bit of effect and can bump you from 8th to 1st if you hit it perfectly. Not sure what DMR Damien's doing there. A little pirouette in front of Sir Ian just to say hello. You guys are a few seconds behind, so you should be seeing it right about now.
Yep, there we go. Right, there we go. Quality's up.
We have some fuel burning strategy by a few of the guys here.
Yeah, Stig's got it right there. Monza is the Ferrari's home turf. But nothing happening there right now. Looks like the Bugatti is going to dominate.
The setup on this race was done with slightly higher tyre wear, so we took the front wheel drives out straight away. And then with the Bugatti, Lamborghini, the 4-wheel drives are a little bit heavier on tyre wear, so I think that's possibly what the 2 DMR drivers are doing in the Hyundai, looking for the better tyre wear. But lighter on fuel, probably have a better fuel strategy, although the Bugatti's going to dominate on the straights.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
We got one of our fuel savers here still in the Lambo, running his Senna helmet, it looks like. We can't really get a good view of that, but Senna always did quite well at Monza, if I remember.
Yeah, that was his track of choice. The man that became famous for racing in the wet. The Veyron City Golf 1.4.
Now, interesting.
Keep it coming.
Interesting strategy. You see there are a few guys that went out on the hard tires, because when you start the race, it's whatever you start qualifying with. So they've pitted now to put the soft tires on, sacrificing one flying lap basically. You can try do it at the end, but it puts you under more pressure, and if you're not on track past the first sector before the cars go, or if the cars don't go past the first sector before the race starts, you start at the back of the grid.
So Dynamic Jean and Callum at pace deciding to go in for that tyre change.
Yeah, I think also Sir Ian and Fiss, there's a couple of them, but the other strategy is just go out on the softs, push, run away, and then do your quick pit stop at the end, because the rules for this week where you had to do at least one lap on hard tires.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where our co-commentator Mr. Trivia is, but maybe his race started late. I did see we had a GT Sport update today, and when his race was starting, or supposed to be starting, his GT Sport was still doing its install.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it
Good
took me
morning.
quite a while as well.
Yeah, it's a strange thing with how the game works. It reinstalls the whole game basically to half an hour, and it takes like 2 minutes to download the file.
Well, there you go. While we get through it, just some interesting stats. The circuit was opened on the 3rd of September, 1922. So
99 years.
so I suppose I'm probably the oldest, so it's closest to my age.
Yeah,
Well, it is 99 years. Shit.
so I think next year's F1 race would be a good one to start booking for now.
Yeah. Just imagine that.
Ferrari might even have some pace by then, who knows?
Jeez.
So yeah, Mr. Fiss in with a 155.7 so far is the fastest lap. A whole bunch of guys that still have to set their first flying lap time. Ghost Killer Pace running a Lego livery. Unless it's just a Bugatti Lego edition.
Yeah, very cool.
We got Mr. Sebi saying any bets on contact at turn 1? No, I doubt it. These are the professional drivers. No dive bombers there.
Yeah, turn 1 with that chicane.
Yeah, it's always good fun in online races.
Yeah. So 5.8 kilometers of circuit with 11 turns. Some interesting stats coming out there. Record lap was a 121 from a couple of years ago. And the highest speed recorded there was 257, believe it or not. That was Rubens Barrichello in a Ferrari, believe it or not, back in 2004 when he was second fiddle to the one and only Michael Schumacher.
I'm quite excited to see that Schumacher documentary next week.
Yeah, that is going to be rather interesting.
There's a man in the most reflective car in the whole of Monza.
Yeah, so we slightly delayed from my feed, slightly delayed. So there we go. We just got it on now. Pas water vis. Listen, even a fish would get blinded by that.
He's not stuck in second gear. He's just trying to get rid of as much fuel as possible before he starts his first flying lap. In the meantime, SMP3 Pro and OJJDS have gone up into first and second.
Good anyway. Sorry, dude, I've got to laugh. Mark 1 brakes on the Bugatti. I tell you what, it would start having to brake now and probably finish braking when it gets to Pretoria.
Cool. A little bit wide there into the gravel from Kalen. He exits back to the pits to aborting that attempt. We go through one of our challengers from the last two races, KBR Richard. He's on his first flying lap. Oh, yeah. I think we need to talk to the KBR boys to help Richard out with the livery. Running standard colour schemes here is not acceptable, especially when Kalen and Trivy from Gorilla Garage have their livery contest.
Yeah, very understated.
Great lap there by Richard, going up to third place.
just going to say, but those are the guys you got to watch for.
Yeah, looking at the time, a couple of these guys won't get around for another lap before we start. I see Kalen managing to put it into fourth, half a second off pole position. Ghost Killer Pace fifth, Jean sixth. One minute to go, so we're just going to go see who's still going to make it across the line here. I think it's only one car, if I can get to him on track. There we go, Mr. Pace. He did pit, so I don't think he's going to get around for another lap.
And JDS has pulled off a great P1 there.
Kellen making it around, but the race about to start. Kendall now you bought it and went into the pits. He's starting on hard, so don't have enough time to do a flying lap.
Well, how's it, Yasin? Good to have you on board here with our live stream this evening. How's it, man? Good to have you here.
The pace camera is looking good on Kalen's Lambo. We're about to go away for our first start.
Well, here we go, gentlemen. We're about to get underway at the Autodromo Nacional Monza.
You're listening with Luigi and Mario. Let's go to the...
All right.
Looks like everyone's away. And we're going to the front of the pack for the first turn.
Okay, so I'm slightly delayed on my side, so I'm going to let Steve do most of the talking. I'll back him up wherever I can.
Hey, that's not what I pay you for. No, I'm joking. It looks like just going through the field, and we still have all the cars in action, so it's great to see.
Yeah, good lineup of cars. And a lot of the names I'm starting to get very familiar with. So how's it to everybody? Thanks for allowing me to be a part of your action. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good. Always good to have you here with us. Looks like we've got SMP3 Pro sitting right in the slipstream of JJDS. Already having a little look here and there. Stefan Mock winning last week and definitely I think leading the championship at the moment. Looks like he's in a bit of a hurry to get through in that Hyundai.
Yeah.
We can see that.
Talking about it just before we went live is the difference between these two cars, and I think Stephen, your call was 110% correct. Lighter fuel load, maybe.
Yeah,
lighter on the tires.
I think that's what they're aiming for, but if you look at the tyres, the first place car is on hards, the next two are on softs. So it's FIS and SMP3 Pro are both on the soft tyres at the moment. So they'll want to get past OJ as quickly as possible. Make the use of those soft tyres, because the rules in this race being that you have to use the hards at least one lap, but I think most guys will probably just one stop the race and see how far they can stretch out the softs.
Yeah.
As little time as possible on the hards.
Well, look at this now. I mean,
great racing.
I was just going to say, really superb racing at the moment, folks.
Especially second and third place side by side through that chicane's no easy feat without contact. Well done to FIS and Stefan.
I was just going to say, FIS is having a really great race on the inside, and he managed to secure that second place.
That's a Bugatti Power. He'll definitely want to get a gap before Taiway comes into play, possibly. It's going further down. They've already pulled the gap on Sir Ian, who's up to 4th. KLM Pace 5th. Then RBS has moved up to 6th. KBR Richard 7th. Bridgens 8th. And we've got someone going off into the dirt in a red Lambo a little bit further back. That would be Dynamic Jean. Obviously, we saw 1 or 2 little penalties there. The rule for this season, as usual, you need to burn that penalty on that lap off the racing line. And we're going to go back to the front. Looks like KBR Fiss is lining up a move on OJ.
Oh, yeah. And he makes it stick. What a beautiful drive from him. And look at that rubbing. The stewards will be watching that quite closely.
The Hyundai Getz sitting in 3rd place still. Hanging on. He's going to want to get past OJ as well pretty quickly. You can see Fiss already pulling a gap now on the soft tyres, just that much more grip through the corners.
Yeah. And really hurting the eyes now. I am reaching for a set of sunnies. Yes, it's a fantastic racing year. Still, first place, OJ, JDS in 2nd, and SMP Throw 3rd. Sir Ian down in 4th. KLM Pace having a great race out in 6th at the moment. And then KBR Richard, well, he qualified in 3rd, but I think, what happened there, Steve?
I think he got knocked down 1 or 2 places right before the on that last lap. I think he started 5th or 6th in the end.
Okay.
He was 8th at one stage on that first lap, but now back up to 7th. I'm just looking, it seems like it's only really 1st, 2nd. Yeah, those 2 that are starting on the soft, so everyone else on the hard tyres. OJ is doing a good job to still be ahead of the Hyundai, SMP3 Pro. Gap 1st to 2nd now, 1.7 seconds after 1 lap. So we can see how much of a difference the tyres are making.
Yeah.
If you look at the tyre wear, you can see the hards lasting quite a bit better. You got to think Mr. SMP3 Pro is probably getting a little bit frustrated there, but what he will be doing, and he's very good at, is fuel saving in the slipstream, so potentially in the pit stops he can gain a couple seconds.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alan Sykes, how's it, my man, all the way from Johannesburg? How's it?
I saw he is getting a very smart looking C-trap from one of the Repsol family on his sim rig. So if anyone up in Joburg wants a rig wrapped, custom design, chat to Edwin, he can point you in the right direction. I see SMP3 Pro briefly got side by side through the last turn, but Parabolica ended up getting dragged down the straight again. Gap now 2.7 to Fiss in front.
And still trying to attack all the time in that Hyundai. An incredibly set up car if you consider what it's up against at the moment. And I think if we just fast forward to Fiss, we're just looking at those tyres. Look at the difference there. Big difference in those wear patterns.
Great side-by-side racing by these two again. In the background, Sir Ian getting very out of shape, managing to save it. Give us your prediction quickly now that we're 4 laps into this race. Fiss is cleared off in the front, but he's going to have to run the hard tyres. How do you see this panning out?
I'd say my money's on SMP3 Pro.
Okay.
Never say I'd say that I put my money on a Hyundai.
Yeah, well, he's going to work that Getz. He's now up to second, already made 0.8 of a second, so he's outside slipstream range.
But let's not take anything away from Sir Ian all the way down in fourth and KLM pace. If you look out at the top of your screen, you can see them down there, and anything can happen. Remember, when that pit stops come into play, this is where all the action starts unraveling. So let's wait and see.
Definitely. I see KBR Richard up to fifth, getting past both RBS and Kalen.
Yeah, quick move.
Yeah, Sham Gaming, advantage of being in a team. It looks like Dino, SMP3 Pro, and Damien, at least the three, ran that Hyundai. So when you're in a team, everyone trying different cars, it's easier to work out strategies a little bit quicker. Sneak a surprise like this, but I did see some other interesting choices in the lobbies, like I mentioned earlier, Stignator in the Ferrari. So there were a few left field choices. There we go. So Mitton's asking the tyres on the Hyundai Accent. They Dunlop 13 inches, 155 wide. But you can see SMP3 Pro with if you compare his way on the bottom left to Mr. Fiss, the Bugatti's eating the tyres a little bit quicker, and Varfus just getting a penalty there, which you'd have to burn off. What I normally do is, coming into Parabolica, you just lift and coast into the corner to get rid of a penalty before you go into the main straight, which is what he's busy doing now. That's going to SMP3 Pro was 3.5 seconds behind. Is now within 2.5.
Yeah, so this is playing right into the hands of SMP3 Pro. And look as they go. We know he's quick through these turns with this Accent. Hyundai.
Gates.
The GL, or is it the GLS?
GLS. That's actually what I'm driving. So, but mine's an Elantra, not a Genesis.
Ah. Still looks very good though.
I think I'd swap.
Designed by the Germans.
Built by the Koreans.
Yeah.
Going back. Looks like the gaps are stabilizing a little bit now. The one thing, as you saw there with Varfus, is if you just put a wheel over the line on the chicanes, you get a second, sometimes even bigger penalties, and that can cost you a lot on these long straights.
Certainly will play right into SMP3's advantage if he does do that again. Because we looked at how quickly he's made up some time. What is that? Just under 2.5 seconds a lap slower. Yeah, anything can happen here. Yeah, certainly a long race still, Dino. We do agree with you. And that's why I said anything can happen.
Looks like the Bugatti versus Lamborghini competition. The Lamborghinis are battling a little bit at the moment. Maybe Dino or some of the other guys that tested can just tell me what to expect from them a little bit later. Do they come back on fuel, or...
KBR Richard is having a great race out there in that understated car, as you said.
Yeah, he's having another blunder, and he's only 7.8 off the lead on the hard tyres, so he could also be someone to watch out for later. He's 3 seconds odd behind OJ, who's also on the hards.
So JOO just asking, when's the highlight reel coming out? I was busy with it now, and then I had to jump in with Stephen. So we should have that. We should have that done by about 12 tonight. We'll have it tomorrow morning.
There you go, Jay. Let's quick scroll through the field, paying attention to some tyre and fuel. See, they're all fairly similar going back. Kalen saving quite a bit of fuel compared to the few cars ahead of him.
Yeah, look at that livery. Pretty cool looking car. That
He's looking at your Steele's tires. It looks like he's just come out the pits. He could actually almost do a no-stop here, which I wouldn't put past your Steele, Mr. Fuel Saver. You see, he's got about 60% fuel. Yeah, it's still would be very tight. I think he probably will pit, but we'll have to just keep an eye on that. Another person with similar as DMR Damien, also in the Hyundai. The GTR struggling a little bit with Jan Ali and his Repsol Suzuki.
also quite interesting, Steve. If you just look at some of the comments there. Dino just saying that Genesis' third best tyre wear in GT4. I didn't realise that. Again, in 86 clipping it.
Yeah, the McGann Trophy, the rear-wheel drive one in the game is very good, and the Toyota 86. I don't know, the Alpha probably would have been around about 4th or 5th, and those are normally the 3 cars you'll see on a GL4 tyre-saving race. So that's a strategy the guys went with the Hyundai. It does have more top end. The Toyota's probably the slowest in a straight line, and the Renault isn't much better. But if you're sitting in a slipstream and manage to hang on, you might have had a chance. Yeah, so DMR Damien pitting, getting rid of those hards, and now he's going to push for the next 11 laps. SMP3 Pro now within 1.3 of office. I'm not sure if he had another penalty or if he's just looking at the lap times, lapping a little bit slower than SMP, probably because of that tyre wear, especially on the front left.
Kendall. That's brilliant. Yeah, come on, Dino, join us. Tune in. Let's chat.
OJ on his hards only 5 seconds behind.
Quite interesting to see what unfolds. Lap 8 from 18, folks. And we are still looking very good there. SMP3 Pro still making up some time.
KBR Richard now in 4th, managing to get past the Ian. Kalen pitting, getting rid of his hards.
KBR Richard, he's still having a very great race out there as well.
He's still only 8.2 off the lead on the hard tyres. Got the gap. That starts obviously cost him quite a bit of time. In 8th place for a while. Yeah, he.
A bit of internet connection problems at the moment. Just a little bit of freeze up there on my frame.
So Ian 5th, still having a battle with KBR RBS Racing. It's probably the highest placed Lambo now that Kalen's pitted. Also very colourful. KBR Bridgens, Ghost Killer Pace in the Lego car. Jan Ali, Dynamic Sean, and then our pitters, KLM Pace, Damien. Looks like he still did end up pitting. And then D-Man down in 14th, also pitted last lap round.
Yeah, so most of the guys are already halfway through, and most of them have pitted. And only one stoppers today.
Yeah, Yeah, we have KBR Fist going into the pits. Yeah, that front left Harvey's is buggered, running in the 57s versus S&P who's in the low 57s. OJ is still mid to high 57s on the hards.
Well, let's watch what this man can do now. Where will Fist come out?
Yeah. Fist is currently in 8th place behind Ghost Killer by 1.5. He's going to need to get past him quite quickly to not interfere with his strategy, but he obviously has much fresher tyres.
Right, here we go. Back out on lap 10. In 8th position.
Looking at DMR Damien pitted on lap 7 and then doing 11 laps on the soft tyres, so we possibly see SMP3 Pro do the reverse of that, 11 and 7. Although he might prove me totally wrong and come in this lap because his tyre wear is starting to look a bit dodgy now. To see what his lap time is. See, his best lap on the soft was a 56.2, whereas KBR Fist, once he got past, was half a second quicker because he still had fresh tyres when OJ was holding him up. SMP3 Pro going through, low 57 again. OJ and KBR Richard both coming into the pits to get their softs on.
SMP3 staying out there.
And
I reckon this is the last lap that he'll be staying out there.
Yeah. So Ian's still out as well, up to 2nd place now. KBR Fist now up to 3rd. After making his stop, he's running on the hards as well. So he pitted on lap 9. His last lap was a 58.6, so he lost about 1.4 seconds compared to SMP3 Pro on the softs there, the old softs. So we could see a change in position because there was only about 1.6 seconds between them when he went into the pits.
Yeah, so interesting. I think his gamble has paid off here.
SMP3 is by staying out longer and getting an overcut on KBR Fist. But that's also just down to the fact that the Hyundai's been better on tyres and Stevens' driving's also been better, possibly on the tyres. But by making them last, he's been able to do an overcut, we'll see shortly.
Well, interesting. Just some of the guys bring those comments in. Dino's just said JDS was definitely going to take this.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, he's on the softs now, so he's on the better tyre. Currently 5th place, 28 seconds behind, but the pit stops do take quite long in GT Sport nowadays. So we probably see, as I said, reverse of Damien Buss's pit stop, 11 and 7 for SMP3 Pro. Heading in. So Ian also coming in. You compare the fuel, 27% for SMP3 Pro and 11 for Sir Ian. Just to give you an idea of how the cars are using the fuel and also of the drivers. So
he's not going to take any fuel on now, SMP3 Pro.
Yeah, S&P coming out right behind KBR Fist. That jump I was looking for, he just managed to avoid it, but KBR Fist at a 57 that time around, so that's what 57.4 managed to save him versus a slower in-lap for SMP3 Pro. OJ is now 3 seconds behind, 4.6 off the lead, but he's on the right tyres. Our boy Kalen's up to 4th with his strategy. Also on the soft tires now, only 3.2 behind. Richard, I'm not sure what happened because he's in fifth now, 14 seconds back, with RBS right on his tail. I'm not sure. Possibly a bit of fuel, but there's quite a big jump there for Kalen to get 7 seconds ahead of him when he was behind to start with. Possibly a penalty or something for Richard. Might have had to slow down. His last lap was at 2:03. Must have spun or something. Anyway.
Well, going to be interesting to see SMP3 Pro if he can. Look, we've still got a few laps to go. 6 laps.
Yeah.
What is he going to do?
Gap the front down to 3.2.
Yeah.
I think it works out slightly in OJ's favour as well that the Hyundai's in front of him, because he can come up to the back of that and use the speed advantage with a bit of tow before he catches up to fifth.
So currently it's Bugatti, Hyundai, Bugatti, and then Lamborghini. Whoever thought we'd have that in the mix at a race?
Yeah. Dino just saying that S&P is probably going to run about 12 seconds slower than his practice pace, but that's the thing with real racing versus practice. You have a guy like OJ does a great job on the slow tires. It's almost like Mr. Fox's favorite thing, MotoGP. You have the Yamahas where they're exceptionally good handling and quick through the corners, but then the Ducatis come blasting past them on the straight and then hold them up in the next corner. So it's that old question of having the power and getting in front when it counts. Obviously, for the front two, being stuck behind on those soft tires for a couple laps definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
Mr. Race Fox is still sleeping.
Yeah.
Fastest lap last time around for OJ, 55.2. Half a second quicker than KBR Fist was earlier, but obviously he's got a little bit less fuel than they did when they had optimum tires. Kalen 4 seconds behind, setting his personal best of 56.2 last time around. KBR Richard 56.1 last time around, but that 203 is definitely going to hurt him. RBS also in the mid 56s, and the Lambo doing a great job. So Ian Damien, after his early stop, now up to 8th place, and we had Yastiel running a bit wide. Nice little three-way fight for 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment. That's Lambo versus double Bugatti.
ATM chip tuning being represented.
Yeah, and Trackart and TGN Racing Simulators, all of our sponsors this year, on some of the guys that made the liveries for the contest. It looks like that Lamborghini of Yastiel's is getting bullied by these two Bugattis, both getting past on the last two straights.
Okay. Oh no, there we go. While we were down there, it looks like OJ has taken that second place.
Yeah. And is now only 1.2 behind Mr. Fiss. Sorry to the guys for missing that overtake, but I'm pretty sure it was probably just driving straight past him on one of the straights. Big slipstream effect and a faster car. We'll come back to them very shortly. We had a nice battle with Jan Ali and D-Man in the GTR Cup in the 13th and 14th place at the moment. And then Dynamic Sean, is in 14th, 12th and 13th. So that Nissan battles for 12th place, last person not to get relegated. We ride on board for a little bit with OJ.
Yeah.
OJJDS. He shouldn't have too much pressure. He's still got 4 laps to get through. Fresher tyres, second a lap, quicker car. Well, actually, second and a half, let's call it. Last time around. He's in slipstream range, so he should be able to be right on his bumper by the next chicane.
Well, there we go. Great visuals coming down from Monza on board OJJDS. Looking down at Vasvatervis.
A little bit of gravel there, costing him some time.
Yeah, there I get to see it now. Definitely going a little bit too wide there.
Just for all of you watching, slight delay on what I'm seeing. But great job here by these front 3 drivers at the moment, separated by less than 2 seconds. SMP3 Pro still hanging in there.
Well, interesting line that JDS just took through there now, using every single piece of that circuit, running that car wide everywhere. Nice and clean through this section though.
Yeah, Kalen 4.6 off the lead at the moment, still in the low 56s. 2.6 seconds to SMP3 Pro, who is probably between the, I wouldn't say between those two for the title this season. Kalen having the loss of points with that auto drive and having to fight back from pool 2. But they're 2 of the usual contenders, so he'll want to chase down SMP3 to make some points back if possible. Still a few races to go. It's back to the front, 0.3 of a second in it now. If I was first, I don't know if I'd fight this too hard. With 3 laps to go, I'd try to lose as little time as possible and try to stay ahead of Steven. If they start fighting, there's a good chance you could end up 3rd or 4th here. Bring SMP and Kalen right into it. So far, just taking the inside line.
It's still anyone's game now, but I think Dino did call it correctly. With 2 laps to go, if he makes the move now, he makes it stick, he's going to take it. Right, now, chicane coming up here. Let's see what happens here. Superb racing from both these drivers.
Looking on the outside, still 1 second gap to SMP. Kalen now within 1.9 of SMP3 Pro. Just closed in a little bit, but still a bit of a gap, and OJ managing to go through on that chicane.
Unfortunately, yeah, I don't get to see that slight delay on my side.
Yeah, it was as I went to look at the time gap to Kalen, he decided to do it. Didn't wait for the straight. That's brought SMP right onto Fiss's tail. That's what I was hinting towards just now. If OJ can break the toe, it's going to leave Fiss vulnerable to SMP, who's getting closed down by Kalen. But I don't know if there's enough time for him to make that 1.8 second. If I was SMP, I'd do a Danny Rick here, use a double toe, and lick a stamp and send it.
Yeah, well, let's see. Lap 17 of 18. Do the chicane they go.
Yeah,
very clean and tidy.
KBL Fiss definitely not giving it up here now that he's got the slipstream. Be bit of dust there from OJ.
Yeah.
got the pressure on him, but this is where you don't want to cut a curb and get a 1 second penalty, totally blow your race. I'm loving KBR Fist running a SA flag helmet there. I've been noticing, I just hadn't mentioned it before.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So we definitely know he's not from out of town. UAE.
Yeah. He's just in
I
a
like both.
UAE car. And Fist is having to defend and attack at the same time here.
Sure. This is super close racing.
Looking at OJ's tyres, starting to get to the end of their life. Let's go there. Front left, pretty shot, but 1 lap to go. You just want to hold that inside position and into the chicanes and then be we're all just holding our breath to see what happens here quickly. Coming down into the chicane.
Oh man, it is super close. I just don't want to say anything because I'm slightly delayed.
That OJ definitely battling a little bit with that front left now and fuel light flashing.
Yeah.
Same with KBR Fist, also got a bit of a flash on the fuel light there. The Hyundai is coming right back into it now.
Looking to
Just
outbreak here.
oh, it looks like Fist is a little bit wide there. SMP3 going for the move.
Yeah. A little bit of touching between the two of them, but he's made it stick.
It's given OJ just that little bit of a gap. I'm sure he's breathing heavy, deep breaths at the moment.
Look at the pace of the Bugatti again, coming up, going to make an attack on the outside.
A little bit of a nudge touch there, but leaning on each other, no major contact. Fist gets through. Kalen's now right on SMP3 Pro's tail. It looks like SMP's picked up a penalty there because he's backed off into the last turn. So that's your podium fairly settled there. OJ holding on in the end comfortably, 2 seconds. KBR Fist.
Yeah.
Kalen just getting third. SMP3 Pro getting a late penalty there, trying to hold it on the inside through the chicane. Richard coming fifth. He was only 10 seconds behind, and that 1 lap he lost 8 seconds. So with that slipstream and the battling, he might have been in there as well. RBS, great 6th place after all the auto drive and issues before the race started. So Ian 7th, Bridgens 8th, Ghost Killer Pace 9th, DMR Damien making it to 10th. Yanali Yastil managing to be 12th and last of the non-relegated drivers. So 13th D-Man and Dynamic Sean will be going down to Pool 2 next week. And we'll have, I think it was Stiganator, I know Serious Sam, I can't remember who what the third driver was coming up from Pool 2. But yeah, who's your driver of the day there?
Yeah. I'd still say SMP3 Pro, purely because I like the Hyundai again.
There we go. I'm going to vote for our winner, just for the job he did on the hards at the start. That's what got him to the front, and then with the soft tyres chasing them down, getting past just before the tyres died and staying in front at the end there. Great job up this pace and SMP3 Pro there as well.
Yeah, well done, Mr. JDS. Brilliant ride there today.
Yeah, so taking one for the pace boys.
Also great to see Cal in pace.
That-
I said right in the beginning, don't underestimate what he can do.
yeah, it's a great
And
job
managed to get a podium.
in the Lamborghini. I mean, even without that last little penalty for SMP3 Pro, where he had to give up third place. Fourth in the Lambo was still a great result. RBS 12 seconds behind in the next Lambo. Yeah. We go. Yaneli, thanks to Dino for backup post. Thanks to Mr. Sean Peters for joining us on commentary tonight. I know you got other projects to go and finish.
Yeah, I got some of the boys that are on this stream right now.
Oh,
wanting
patiently
their
waiting for
highlights.
you.
They're waiting for their highlights package.
There we go. So, if all your video production needs and voiceovers, call Sean Peters.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the shout out, and thanks for having me, guys. Always great to be a part of such a close and very awesome community. Thanks for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
No problem. And next week we have round 7, which is in the touring car Mazda Roadster, basically the MX-5 touring car. So
Very cool.
that's always good close racing. If you're available, we'll see you then.
Yep, I'll be available out on the roads. Please take it easy and have a lekker weekend coming up.
Thanks, guys. Catch you next week.
Cheers, guys.